Hey, baby, it's Young Gravy. This is WMTS Murfreesboro.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to hopefully your favorite radio show. It certainly is mine, Louisville on air. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined today by the amazing
Jake Stewart.
Hello,
Hello.
Jake. What are you also known as?
I make solo music under Pulse-Static, and then I have a collaboration thing called Dot Set.
Awesome. Now, let's continue that introduction. Already got your name, Jake. How's it going? How about you introduce yourself just a little bit more, like where you're from?
So I'm from Paducah, Kentucky. It's a little small town in Kentucky, and yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it, really. Nothing really interesting about that.
Well, we'll start digging into some questions
Yeah.
right now. So how did you get your start making music?
So I guess I have a little story here. So when I was like 9 or 10, I was hanging out with my dad at his office, just like after school, and we randomly started looking at guitars, and it was just this like really nice thing where my dad was just like, "Oh, you just want to go get a guitar?" So we just went to the music store, and I got this like $100 BC Rich Warlock, which is like a totally funny 9-year-old guitar to get. And yeah, from the start I was really just into like classic rock, and I was trying to learn things I would hear on the radio, and I just stuck with it for some reason, I don't know. And then obviously I'm into lots of different kinds of music now, not just Aerosmith. So
I don't know. I think I would say Dot Set is like the modern day Aerosmith.
yeah, totally.
Awesome. So who or what are your biggest inspirations, whether that be musically or otherwise?
So I guess to kind of continue my little story here, when I was like 12, I got extremely obsessed with Nirvana for some reason. I remember specifically.
They're a good band.
Yeah, I mean it's great, but a song off of Nevermind, "Breed," just caught my attention. I was so obsessed with it, and then I knew like everything about the band, all the B-sides, all the outtakes. And I guess it was kind of a snowball thing from Nirvana, just getting into more like weird music they were into, like Sonic Youth, and then more into like electronic stuff by the time I was 13 or 14, with a producer guy named Aphex Twin, goes by Aphex Twin, and he was like the start of me getting really into electronic music.
Awesome. So you make electronic music,
Right.
obviously. I was going to start with some like basic general information of how you like build a track up. What like just basic tech do you use? Like, what's your DAW? What's like your general gear setup when you're making a track?
So I use FL Studio as like my main DAW. Use tons of plugins. It's honestly ridiculous. I just have way too many plugins, and I'll often just start sometimes by making just like a patch that kind of leads somewhere, like a synth patch or something, or like a drum loop, and it kind of just builds up from there. Or sometimes I'll even have like ideas in my head of like, oh, what if I connected this thing to this? What would that sound like? And then from there, you know, a song will come out of it.
Awesome. Do you have like a favorite piece of gear, or like a favorite plugin?
I really like this one called Falcon by UVI. Use that a lot. I use just a lot of the built-in stuff to FL Studio. Honestly, the stuff that just comes with the software
There are a
whenever you
lot of
download it.
stock FL plugins, yeah.
Yeah, they come. I mean, you don't even need anything else really. Like you can just go with that. But yeah, I have some hardware. I mean, of course, you know, I like my guitar. I play guitar a lot, and but I have some synths. I have this little DSI Evolver thing. That's a lot of fun. So I like hardware synths too, but they're expensive, obviously. So I just use software mainly.
Do you have any hardware synths at all?
Yeah, the DSI
Oh, well, yeah.
Evolver Dave Smith Instruments. It's just this little funky blue box that like makes crazy sounds.
And so it kind of sounds like you use mostly digital.
Yeah.
Do you use like, besides little DSI, do you use like any other analog technology?
I mean, I have tons of guitar pedals. So like, to go back whenever I was like 13, get into all those weird bands from kind of my obsession from Nirvana, I think. There was a lot of cool bands that used tons of pedals, and so I just go around and try to find little rare things. And I'd also like to, I would like find rare pedals for super cheap, and then I would just flip them around to like blues lawyer guys and make tons of money. And then I would take that money and buy like actually cool pedals that I wanted to use.
Oh, nice.
So it was like this self-sustaining thing. So I do have a bunch of just like junk, honestly,
You
but
just got that bag.
yeah.
And so do you use those a lot in like, whenever you make a track nowadays?
It's weird. I kind of consider myself more of a collector. Like, it's kind of bad. Like, I don't even use a lot of this stuff that much in my actual music. It's there here and there, but yeah, I don't know. I just like pedals. I think they're fun. I like them on my shelf.
Okay, last question about analog gear, I promise. Do you have a preference when it comes to digital or analog?
Not really. I don't believe in the whole analog purism thing.
Real.
Yeah, I don't know.
There
I
are-
think it's a little goofy.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, there's just like you only really need the stock stuff to make a good track.
And it's super powerful
Yeah.
too. Like there's plugins and even built into FL Studio that you can't even attempt to recreate in real life.
So moving on to like building a track, you talked on it a little bit earlier, but where do you start with a new track? Is there like something that you always do first?
I probably start with like melody first, I would say. I don't know, it really depends. It's interesting. Sometimes I'll just start with like a guitar idea and I'll record it and loop it and add stuff on top. There's definitely songs like that where I just have like one looping thing throughout, and then I just, you know, filter it out in some sections and add different parts on top of that loop. Because I do like stuff that's repetitive, kind of drony in a way.
Yeah. More like ambient, would you say?
Yeah, it kind of, I don't know, it feels like it's a little hypnotic or something if you just have this like loop in the background.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Hypnotic, yeah. And so like, how do you approach making a melody?
I don't really, I know like some theory and stuff, but it's really not anything like that. Like I don't sit down and I'm gonna write something in E Phrygian because it sounds mysterious. Like I kind of just plink around and I'll find cool chords and cool little melodies, and then I'll record them in my phone usually, and then just re-record them later, just as like a really quick way to like capture.
Yeah.
Because you know you don't want to like lose that first little. Oh wow, that sounds crazy. You know.
And so does that also apply to when you're making like drums and percussion? Like, do you also just kind of mess around until you find something good, or is it you have an idea going into it?
Sometimes like a drum program or a drum sequence will kind of be in my mind, and I'll be like, it'll usually be something really simple though, like just like a, you know, just
Yeah.
like a really, and like, oh, that'd be cool if I like kind of glitched it out. I don't know, sometimes I can kind of just like hear little things in my head and like, oh, I'm gonna try to recreate that in real sound, but it's really more of just plinking around and finding stuff.
And also, when I listen to your music, there's just there is like a lot going on, and in a very good way, I would say. And one of
Thanks.
those things is there's like little like ear candy bits left and right, and usually it's part of the percussion. So whenever you're like making a track, is there any process to when you're like, I'm gonna add this little bit in the right ear right here to make it sound cool?
Yeah, I'm a little psychotic about it. I have like my projects look crazy because I just like turn on so many plugins on and off with automation and draw in like curves and
Yeah,
stuff.
I remember in our Pro Tools class when we did
Oh yeah, that's right.
Lab D. When
Yeah.
you redid the music for Interstellar.
Right.
God, that was so much automation. But it
Yeah,
sounded
and
really
I remember
good.
the teacher would like point that out. It's kind of funny.
And so how do you like know when to cut an idea that isn't working?
I'm not gonna act like I'm a pro with this because I definitely have a very large work in progress folder that's kind of a mess. That's it's like a skeleton in a closet kind of thing. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah. Sometimes I'll just straight up delete things. Like I'll just be like, I don't even want to hear this anymore. I don't think I'm ever gonna want to hear it again. So I just delete it, and that's kind of my way. I have a very strict like, just, no, I don't want to hear this song. It's gone.
And so I guess the same also applies to like smaller ideas within a song.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll save a version of something. Like I'll just create like save as, and then if I'm doing it digitally, of course. Yeah, and that's only if like there's something slightly interesting happening, but often I'll just straight up delete things. Like I don't want to create too much clutter.
Yeah.
'Cause then I just get stuck.
And so that kind of brings us to organization. As I've mainly, actually, no, everyone I've interviewed so far are very singer-songwritery, which obviously comes with being very acoustic. I can't really think of any of my previous guest songs that would use a synth or would use a program like FL for electronic music production. And so a very, very, very big part of electronic music production is file storage, and it's really fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, do you have like a system for organizing tracks or files, like any naming conventions for them, or do you just stack it all in one thing?
I just do it by year. I have like project files 2024. And I'll also separate it by program. Like I mentioned, yeah, I use FL Studio the most, but I also use Reaper a lot. It's another program. And like I'll have a FL folder and a Reaper folder, and then just in there I'll separate it by month even. So like
It's almost just like chronologically.
yeah. It's kind of just date, and then I'll put the date in the project name. Like I'll put like
Okay,
Oct 16th in there, just so I remember like, oh, that was a couple days ago or something.
And so you touched on this a little bit, but when it comes to unfinished tracks, how do you like manage them? Are they just like gone forever, you never touch them, or do you like say you just scroll them through and be like, oh, I remember that track, I'll revisit it?
Honestly, it's kind of a problem I'm trying to figure out. I don't have like a solution to this yet, because I don't really have that much released right now, but I have like an ungodly amount of unreleased work in progress stuff. Like I could have been a very prolific artist by now if I actually finished it all and released it.
Isn't that what Aphex Twin did? Is he just has like this back catalog of stuff that's
Yeah.
build up for years?
I don't know. I don't try to let that be an inspiration in that case. Like I don't want to just hoard stuff and then
Or Prince, come to think of it.
yeah.
Or Michael, you could be the next Michael Jackson or Prince.
That's true. I
Which
could
is
be like Prince. I
basically
could have the
Aphex-
vault
Aphex
or
Twin.
whatever.
Yeah. I don't have a good segue for this next one.
Okay. Yeah, just hard cut. It's good.
Yeah, sampling.
Nice.
You know it. You love it, right?
Yeah, there's samples. I don't know.
So like, what is your like approach to sampling?
So I mean, I use drum samples a lot. I feel like everybody does who does electronic music. You also sample break beats which is kind of like this funny legal, like gray area, you know.
Like the almond break kind of thing.
Yeah, like nobody's licensing an almond break or, you know, the funky drummer James Brown one.
I never really dug into the legality behind sampling the almond break.
It's one of those. I think they just realize there's not enough money in it, and they just leave it alone. It depends on the song. Like NWA has that big song with the almond break, right? Do you know? I forget.
The only one, it's not almond break. It's the funky drummer. Not the Powerpuff Girls. He uses the funky drummer sped up by
does
like
it?
100% or something. Yeah.
Wait, doesn't the Futurama theme?
Oh yeah.
It uses which one?
It uses one of those two, or something like it.
I forget.
It's everywhere. Both
Yeah.
of them are like everywhere. Yeah. Are there any like samples or sample packs that you find yourself coming back to a lot?
I guess I'll shout this out. There's this. Well, I don't know if it's. Do at your own discretion, I guess, because it's kind of a weird gray area type thing as well. But there's this Internet Archive thing with all these 90s sample packs, and it's just like 40 gigabytes, or I think the biggest one you can install is like 400 gigabytes or something. It's insane.
Is it on the Internet Archive?
Yeah, it's a very popular thing. Like just search sample CDs in there, and they'll come up quickly.
Nice.
But I use that a lot because it's just a lot of really interesting older sounds, and it's this weird thing because like those sample CDs were made illegally, I believe, and now everybody's downloading them illegally. So it's like, is it double illegal? I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, we're very early on time. This was like the end of the first half of the round of questions. But because I'm an amazing interviewer, I've planned for this. I have just 25 random miscellaneous questions that could be about anything, from like why you made a song this way to just like why are you at MTSU at all. So
Okay.
pick a number 1 through 25.
22.
22, let's see. How do you prepare for a recording session? Or I guess in this case, how do you prepare to like go into making a track?
I really just. That's interesting. I do like a clean desk and stuff. That's probably like the only thing I really do. Otherwise, it's just any part of the day. If I just wake up, sometimes I just go straight on the computer and make something. It really just depends. I like making stuff kind of out and about too. Like I'll just get my laptop out. That's pretty fun.
Let's go to the number 1 through 25. That's not, what did you say, 22? You cannot do 22.
19.
19. How do you know when a song's finished?
When I don't want to add anything to it or hear it anymore on loop. Because you know how it is, you know, you just sit there and loop it, and you're you're listening for little details, like, oh, this snare's a little too loud, and like, I don't think that's constructive, really. You get into a kind of, whatever it's called, sunk cost. No, I don't think that's right. Whatever.
It's something like sunk cost fallacy. I get what you're saying, where you just like listen to it over and over, and by the time it's like, I just want it to be done, you know.
Yeah.
When you make a track, do you try to like cram it all in like one time frame, or do you just like spread it out over a long time?
I definitely like the projects that just come together, like, in one sitting, kind of. There's definitely songs on my first thing, the Pulse one, that I probably made in like 5 hours. If I'm being honest with you, like it's just a very quick, like, in 5 hours straight. Like I I went to the bathroom, of course, but like just sat there in my room.
Were there any songs where you never went to the bathroom?
I'll leave that up to your imagination.
It's another 1 through 25.
3.
3. Oh, here's a good one. What about a song gets your attention on the first listen?
Ooh, that is good.
Take a loud sip of water to fill the airtime while you think.
I really like songs and artists that are like super distinct in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't mistake them for anybody.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it's like a unique voice of some kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Like circle back to Nirvana.
I was about to say, yeah, like
it
Kurt
all
Cobain.
goes back.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a band that sounds like Nirvana. I mean, there's like Pearl Jam, which you know they did the
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds something like Kurt Cobain though.
yeah, and people
Because like Kurt Cobain's like yeah, and then Pearl Jam's like yeah.
yeah, or even like Stone Temple Pilots or something.
Yeah.
Like they think they all sound the same, but I really don't. I don't think so.
I do. They all do. That.
They do?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Nirvana compared to the other
Oh,
ones.
Nirvana talking about. No, Nirvana sounds nothing like them.
Yeah.
No, like the Stone Temple Pilots and
There's definitely people that think Nirvana sound like Pearl Jam though.
I mean,
If
like,
they're like
instrumentally, like kind of. I can
Right.
see it because they're both part of like the grunge scene, but voice, no.
yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Just yeah, that's my favorite music probably.
Mhm.
Just anything where like I know nobody's gonna be able to recreate that,
Yeah.
and it's very idiosyncratic.
And
That's a
today-
good word.
Today I am announcing I am recreating Nirvana 1-to-1.
Nice.
Let's see. To other 1 through 25.
2.
2. What is your favorite part of the songwriting process? Or I guess in your case, what is your favorite part of like the creation process for a track?
I really like it whenever there's kind of that. I get this like moment sometimes whenever things just kind of click,
Mhm.
and it's like, you know, I see the vision now.
You get like a Jimmy Neutron
Yeah,
brain,
you
brain
gotta-
blast, brain blast moment.
Yeah, it's kind of like trust the process or whatever. It's
Mhm.
like sometimes you'll just be plinking around and like this sounds like crap, but then you do like the right thing, and then it all kind of just fits together, and it's really neat.
I have to interrupt the interview for one quick moment. Hi Caleb, my brother. Don't read this on air. When are you going to interview Tanka Jahari? I don't know, Caleb. I don't even know who that is. Anyway, let's continue with the interview. He's gonna text me in a minute, being really mad.
Nice.
Let's see. Another 1 through 25.
4.
4. Well, this is about live shows. What's your pre-show ritual?
I mean, here we could. I actually did used to play live in this
Oh, yeah.
little. It wasn't anything I was like artistically invested in. It was this cover band thing I would do where I took lessons like at the
Mhm.
music store.
Oh, like School of Rock kind of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very similar to that. And it was just like everybody would agree on a song, and then we would all learn it and play it for our parents. It was nice. I got really bored of it eventually.
Mhm.
You know, as I was getting all experimental. Mom, you don't get it. I listen to
It's not
Aphex
phase,
Twin
Mom.
now. But yeah,
So-
I did eventually get a little bored, but it was fun. Like being able to play, and the drummer was really good
Mhm.
in my band.
So how did you like warm up for a show then? Or, like, what was your pre-show ritual from that?
Just when I was really young, I would get nervous, so it was just mainly like calm myself down.
Then?
You know. Nowadays, I don't really get that nervous, and I do want to like play shows that are related to like my own music.
Yeah.
It's just hard to figure out.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how before the show started that playing electronic music live is very hard. Like you could do like
Yeah.
a DJ set, or like my favorite band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard does when they
Nice.
do live stuff. They just have
Yeah,
like
you're
a full
talking about
table
that.
setup of synths and stuff. But that's not cheap,
No.
and yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to do and put together.
Yeah, like I don't know if I want to do. If I just want to play my songs and add effects, like punch them in,
Mhm.
or if I want to like do a live looping thing. That's kind of like another approach I always see. Like people will like have a bunch of drum machines
Yeah.
or like little drum things set up, and they'll like recreate tracks kind of one by one, just looping it up.
Mhm.
Which I don't know. I'm gonna
That
be a little
could
bit
be
of a
cool.
hater, and I feel like that gets a little like annoying.
You're gonna be a hater on looping
Like
it,
yeah,
or
like the live looping thing.
you just don't like it in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little impartial on it.
Fair enough. I think it can be cool. I think it's kind of gotten a little bit oversaturated.
Yeah.
But if you like combine it with something else that isn't just Sims, like if you were to do like guitar live looping,
Yeah, people do like the
plus-
hitting guitar thing. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But
but you could do like what suggestion, you could like do guitar live looping plus like a synth live loop. I don't know how you would set that up because I'm not an expert on that.
you
kind
could
of
probably
thing, but-
MIDI sync it.
Yeah, probably. We got a break coming up shortly, but first, the next song up is called "All You Need Is a Wall" by The Books.
Nice.
This is the song that you suggested I put on the playlist.
Yeah, very good.
What do you like about The Books, and what do you like about this song?
They're definitely one of those bands that just have such a unique sound. It's a blend of a lot of stuff too. Like they have a very strong electronic thing, but it's also like guitars and vocals and A B normal structured songs, which I always like. Kind of the blend of those two things, like weird sounds and quote unquote more conventional rock, folk, whatever stylings.
Awesome, yeah. Well, you're about to hear it. This is "All You Need Is a Wall" by The Books on 88.3 WMTS Murfreesboro. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
If you're just now tuning in, you're listening to LUVOL on Air. If you have been listening this entire time, you are still listening to LUVOL on Air here on WMTS 88.3 Murfreesboro. I am once again still joined by my guest, Jake,
Yep.
AKA Pulse-Static, AKA Dot Set.
One half
That little,
dot set,
one,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, one half a
Yeah.
Dot Set. We'll get to that.
I won't take all the credit.
The song you were just hearing was by Dot Set. It's called SSE. Just pronounce SSE or just C?
Yeah,
C?
just title we chose.
It's called Se. And so that was by Dot Set. So naturally, we're going to talk about Pulse-Static, your solo
Yeah,
project. It's
nice.
not Dot Set. And so that came first, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was I don't know. I didn't write down the year. Oh no, is that
Just last year.
last year? Yeah. And so you have currently one album with our as Pulse-Static.
Yeah.
Called Pulse One, available on Bandcamp. Is it available? I assume SoundCloud too.
Yeah, it's not like officially released. I kind of thought of it more as like a mini album because it's only like 20 minutes.
So kind of like an EP.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not on Spotify or streaming, unfortunately. right?
Yeah, I should probably just put it on there because I do plan on releasing stuff later on Spotify.
So let's dig into it.
Nice.
Pulse One by Pulse-Static. Did you have any specific artists in mind while you were creating this album?
I would say there's this Japanese producer. I'm gonna butcher his name, Akoi Takamasa. Yeah, I probably messed up that name, but I was listening to him a lot, and I feel like a lot of those tracks are very inspired by his music.
Yep.
If you kind of play them side by side, and just the usual stuff I'd been listening to forever, like there's like Square Pusher, Aphex Twin kind of influence on there. Some kind of more quote unquote breakcore. That's a genre, kind of sort of style on parts of that album. And really, that whole album was just me being like, I'm making all this music. I need something to like show that I actually am. So I think I sequenced that whole album and put it together in like a day. It was just tracks I had laying around, and I was just
Dang.
like, these flow together. That was it.
I mean, they work really well together.
And
if
some
I
of
may say
them-
so myself.
Some of them are from like early 2022. I think like the tail end has some of those songs on there.
Because I was about to ask, were they all made at the same time, or was it like kind of spread
No.
out? What was like the timeline of putting it together? I guess.
Well, yeah, like I said, I just put it together super quick because I was like, I just need something,
Mhm.
because like at that point, I only had like 2 little kind of whatever tracks on SoundCloud. And I was just like, some of these tracks aren't so bad. I'll just throw them onto this thing. And so yeah, some of them. So I started like all this digital audio stuff in Reaper. So like some of those songs are me like figuring out how to do this glitch stuff in Reaper, and then some of the other songs, I think. Actually, this is a fun fact. The track on there, I think I just named it like Loop December 30, Deck 30. I think that's my first FL Studio project. So
Like ever?
yeah,
Dang.
like I got the software and I made that, and I eventually like finished it, and it got put on there. And I think that track's actually, I think, has had the most like positive things said about it by strangers, which is cool. So it's just like this, I don't know, it's nice. Like I released that, and I kind of realized like, oh, there's people like into this, and it's kind of uplifting in a nice way, and also just like it's nice to finally get rid of some songs in a way. Like I don't have to think about them anymore. They're out.
Was there any like rhyme or reason to what songs you selected, or was it just like the best of the best that you had made in the past year or so?
I just thought they kind of matched theme a little bit, or
The vibe thing,
sound,
yeah.
or vibe. Yeah,
Was there like a central theme that you wanted for the album, or was it just
it's just songs, really, just stuff I've collected. I'm sure there was like individual inspirations for all the songs, but memory goes away. I kind of forgot, honestly, if I'm being real with you, like if there even is, because there is vocals on that album, but they are very like chopped.
they're pretty buried, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was probably just me like sketching out a song, but then I was just like, the song's a little crap, so let me just like take these vocals and chop them up. And I don't think there's like anything really that like any solid stanzas, bars, whatever you want to call it, of lyrics on that album. Really, it's kind of just chopped together things. It's kind of just like a blender of everything I was doing to that point, I guess. That's a good way of describing it.
Yeah. So were there are there any like standout tracks or any standout moments from the album that you want to talk about, or like that you're really proud of?
I like the first track a lot. All at Once, if I'm remembering right. There's a section on the song Interference. There's like this glitch section that I was really proud of. I think sounds pretty crazy, and I like it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It gets like a 7 out of 10 for me. My
Like
own
overall?
personal like rating myself. Yeah, if I was going to.
I think it's a nice little, like, I put it on while I was writing these down. It's not lo-fi hip hop, but it was like this nice little, like, yeah, this is a cool thing to have on.
Yeah,
in the
I could
background,
get that vibe. Yeah, thanks.
It's something that I mean, this is a compliment. If you were to go back in time and give like 2021 me this, I'd be like, yay, I love this, and call it like quote unquote vaporwave.
That's funny, because there has been people that have been like, this sounds so vaporwave, I have gotten that comment, just like random people talking about it, or not really talking about it, just like comments.
Yeah.
Sometimes people stumble upon stuff and they're nice and they give you comments. I have gotten the vaporwave thing before, and like I don't think that was conscious when I was making it, so it's kind of one of those funny situations where it's just like, oh, if that's what you hear, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I like vaporwave though. It's
I
kind of
do
a shame
too,
it's
yeah.
a bit of a meme, I guess. But no, there's the Onatrix Point Never guy. He has this album.
who'd you say?
I don't know how to say his name. His name's Daniel Lopatin. That's his real name.
Okay.
But he has this album he released under this name called Chuck Person. It's called Echo Jams. Have you ever heard of this?
Oh, Echo Jams. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was like the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Echo Jams a lot. I don't know if I was listening to it while I was making that.
Echo Jam. I think I listened to Echo Jams. It was a while ago. I remember like.
It's like Fleetwood Mac songs slowed down with a bunch of delay on them. It's pretty cool.
The one I remember really liking was it was a Death Dynamic Shroud one.
Oh,
I
Faith
can-
in Persona?
I can picture the album. Maybe I can picture the
Or
cover. It was
I'll
the one
Try
that kinda
Living
looks
Like This? It's the one with the girl?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It looks like it looks like she's like imprinted on like a CD or something.
Yeah, I know that
that's the
one.
one. Yeah, what would that be considered? I guess it's vaporwave. It's in the area.
I hear there's a term for it, plunderphonics.
Plunder, yeah.
Yeah, where
I
you just
really like
take other
Plunderphonics.
songs and
yeah.
mash them together into a new
It's not
one.
vaporwave at all, but Plunderphonics always makes me think of like DJ Shadow, someone like that.
Yeah, he kind of did the same thing, or even just like Jay Dilla in a way.
So, moving on. Let's see if you have anything else to say about Pulse One, or just Pulse-Static in general.
I definitely want to do more stuff in the name. It's kind of shifted a lot. Like if I want to do something more pop oriented, or I kind of have other ideas that might, they might they might kind of tank, so to say. Like they're kind of weird, like just concept ideas for albums. I kind of have floating around.
Do you want to share any of them?
I've had this idea of just like me singing along to like non-metric, you know what I mean, like non-4/4, like generative ambient kind of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It'd be kind of like a weird, like folk record, I guess, but it's just like strange sounds and.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm into that, yeah.
Yeah, because I do have some tracks that I feel like could work for that. And I was like, this might be an interesting little, maybe 5-song thing. Just like a little me plus the computer kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think that would combine two interests that I don't see a lot in like music in general. Just like very odd time signatures, and that like I don't want to call it folk electronic, but the kind of you know what I'm getting at, right? Like what like the kind of thing.
I
that
think
you
there is
do.
a term, folktronic. I don't know how.
Is that really a thing?
I think so.
The first guy I interviewed on here, Truman Vincent, is a great banjo player. I should get you two to collab.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, that's
maybe.
how you do. You live loop with a guitar, a banjo, and a synthesizer.
I'm down. I like weird instrument combos like that.
Yeah. So, the second album overall, first album as Dot Set, is self-titled, called Dot Set. So how did that kind of come to be, and like how did you meet your collaborator? And actually, who is your collaborator first?
So his name's Louis, and it's funny because I've never met him in real life.
Really?
So, yeah. So we met on this, or I reached out to him, because there's this Discord chant. We met on Discord, and there's this Discord chat called glitch.cool. Yeah, and there's like a collaboration channel on there, like, oh, I'm looking for someone to collab with, and he like made a post on there, and he was like had a bunch of artists that I really liked listed, like, oh, these are like the things that I like. So I think I just shot him a message, just like, why not?
Okay, yeah.
And that's kind of funny because it's just like one of those things I didn't even think much about. I was just like, oh, cool, maybe we could talk about some weird music, because I don't really know like weird music people in real life that much. So it's just like, nice. But then, yeah, we made a collaboration track called XYNU that's just on SoundCloud. And we just kept talking like after that. And then eventually it's just like, oh, we should just make an album. Why not? It'd be fun. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really too like crazy besides that. Just met on this online thing. Went
So
from there.
you mentioned that there was like the list of artists that you guys had a lot in common. What were some of the artists on the list?
That Akoi Takamasa guy that I keep messing up the name of because I'm a dumb American.
You gotta learn all the Japanese
Yeah, I gotta
language,
learn
man.
Japanese.
And so what was like collaborating like as compared to going solo?
So yeah, it was a lot different because obviously he's in California, so like very far. Yeah. So there obviously wasn't any like I'm behind the computer, he's playing guitar, or vice versa. So it's just sending files back and forth. I think most of the songs started as little phone demos I recorded of me just like playing riffs, or like, oh, this is a cool idea, and I would just send it to him, kind of get like the green light on it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of, it kind of acted as like, I don't know. There's like a way I could phrase it, but he kind of gave the green light to a lot of the stuff, which is interesting.
That's would you call that kind of like a producer role?
Yeah, he
Well,
kind of
like a traditional
acts,
music producer role.
yeah, I'd say he like acted like that in a
Mhm.
way when we were making this one. Yeah, it was very much like, and I would get kind of like second guessy about it, and I'd be like, I don't want this song on this album. I think one was the June 4th, because that's like an old track. I think I just sent him. I was like, there's some cool ideas in here, maybe we could work on it. And he was like, don't change anything about it and leave it on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, because like I probably wouldn't have released that song otherwise, because that song was just me, and it just ended up on there.
Yeah, so there were songs that were like just you or just him then?
Yep.
Yeah. And so that kind of goes into like, how was the work split between you guys? Like, what was the creation process like?
It was probably pretty 50-50 if you were to like put everything out on a bulletin board and draw out a big crazy graph. Like, I did a lot of the production, he probably did more of the production. I played a lot of guitar on it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is me on guitar, but he played a lot of bass on it, so I don't know. It's pretty 50-50. Some of the songs, yeah, are just mine or just his.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's probably pretty. And then it was also back and forth. Like, he'd send me something, and then I would add to it and make kind of my quote-unquote own thing out of it, and vice versa. Like, I think Artificial Light on there, I barely had anything to do with, other than just like the harmonic structure of the song, like the main little riff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being mine. And I think there is like a little bit of glitchiness that I added, but like other than that, he just kind of took that and did his own thing with it.
Yeah, you mentioned like you guys having guitar and bass, and I think there is some guitar on Pulse One, right?
Yep.
But there's a lot more guitar on Dot Set.
Yeah, it's definitely much more like indie rock
Yeah.
in that style.
I if I may just take a moment to sing your praises, I really like how you combine like that indie rock feel with the electronic glitchiness of
Nice,
like
thanks.
EDM music. It's kind of like, it's like a mid ground between Pulse-Static and, I'm trying to think of like a good band to say it's the mid ground of.
Like Duster, you know them. Maybe something like that.
I think I've heard one of those songs before. I can like picture maybe Foster the People. I don't know.
I don't know them that well. They have the.
I only know Pumped Up Kicks. About.
Yeah.
Let's see if the queue for the station has anything. Oh, Pixies.
Yeah,
Man,
sure. I like Pixies.
That's an alright. Yeah. You're for people wanting a recommendation, I would say Dot Set's a pretty good in between Pulse-Static and Pixies.
Nice, thanks.
Anyway, moving on. You have, I think. Let me just check the track list real quick and double check, because I know you collaborate. Yeah, Pearl Lump. Is it the only other collaborator that you had on this, or were there more that are just uncredited?
Yeah, and that track was just between Louie and her.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, she has some crazy music. I think it's only on SoundCloud,
Mm-hmm.
but she's like a very interesting producer figure. I don't know her like too well. Kind of just know about her mostly. I mean, I'm in like this server
Yeah.
with a bunch of people, and she's in it. But yeah.
And so you didn't really work with her all that much, or at all?
No, I haven't at all.
Oh, darn.
But no, she's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, you kind of talked about him being, you talked about Louis being like the producer figure, kind of. How did you guys decide what tracks made up like the finished product?
So yeah, that's interesting, because there's one, yeah, maybe more if I'm forgetting, but there is one song that like just didn't make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a slow burner thing I came up with. It was mainly just a guitar, but yeah, it just didn't fit. And he kind of sequenced the whole thing, if I remember correctly. Like he made all the tracks kind of flow together. He kind of did like the classic, one note fades into the next
Mm-hmm.
track kind of thing. Oh, some songs do it.
Like
it's kind of his decision, really.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like, I kind of just left it to him. I was like, all right, you like these songs, I like them too, enough. So like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Also kind of like with Pulse One, were there any standout moments or standout songs that you just are really really proud of, or just want to talk about for any reason?
Yeah, I like the first track on there, the All at Once thing. I think I mentioned that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a standout. I think it's all like pretty solid if I'm gonna, or it's like the same degree of good across.
Mhm.
I don't think there's like a dull moment.
I mean, once again, I liked it. So
Nice, thanks.
and that's all that matters is if I like it. Yeah, we got. Let's see. Would you rather listen to Amelia by Joni Mitchell for the next 6 minutes, or do some more of those random 1 through 25 questions? Up to you.
You can hit me with some questions.
All right, let's see it. Where are they? That's not them. That's not them. There they are. All right, 1 through 25. I forgot the questions that you already did.
I'll
I'll
just
remember
if
them
I-
when you say it, but I remember
I don't
3 and
think-
2, and that's it. All right, 1
I
through
don't think I
25.
did 24. You said through 25, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have not done 24. Do you remember the first song you ever written?
Oh wow. Trying to think. I remember the first thing I recorded. It was when I was like 12. I just installed that Reaper program like I was talking about. And it was pretty terrible, honest. I mean, it's kind of endearing. Like, it's not that bad. I think I listened to it not too long ago. I think it's literally just called like Instrumental 1 or something. It wasn't really that creative. It was just me like playing guitar over this drum loop, and then I added like these crappy MIDI horns. I don't really know what I was going for. It's
MIDI
kind of,
horns are always really funny.
it's not that bad of a song though. I was kind of impressed by it. Like dang, I was kind of, when I was that young, I was kind of.
Do you still have it?
It's buried in like
Darn.
my Google Drive or something.
We're gonna take the last 6 minutes of the show just to find it.
Yeah, we'll find
Yep.
it.
Because that's the exciting radio that you come here for. Isn't it?
Right. Listen to
Yeah. So 1 through 25.
7. I don't think I did that.
7. This is another one about playing live. Do you prefer playing alone or playing with a backing band? But I guess I'll change that to be.
I mean, I have done both.
Well, then which one would you rather? Or do, I guess.
It depends on what I'm doing in the band. If I'm playing guitar, I'd rather play like in a band probably. But if I'm like doing
What's the situation
synth
where you would?
stuff,
Okay, yeah, some stuff.
I'd probably rather do that alone because that seems kind of chaotic. If I were to like try to be synchronized with somebody with all that complicated stuff going on, that could be cool though. There is like electronic duos like that do it pretty well.
Daft Punk.
Yeah, right.
1 through 25.
6.
6. Favorite song you've written, or I guess, yeah, written, I guess, or produced.
It's not released.
Oh,
That's a good answer because that's like,
Dang.
ooh.
Do you know when it may be released?
No.
Oh man.
Maybe be a single. Sure, why not? I don't know.
I'll ask you in a little bit what your like upcoming release plans are. Do you have like any set times at all? It's just a yes or no. Don't tell me the times yet.
I don't.
Darn.
I wanted to have something by the end of the summer, but I failed at that, obviously.
It is October.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Don't rub it in.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. Well, it's just I'm too indecisive. I can't make up my mind if like I want to just throw a bunch of songs onto a thing, or if I want to try to get all conceptual and smart and have like something really focused. Because whenever I'm like trying to, if I want to do something focused, I got to scrap some songs. I got to make new ones. If I want to have everything flow together.
That's kind of something I've run into too when I'm trying to like plan out releases for whatever music project I'm focusing on. Is I'm like, I could be really cool but a little bit pretentious and do this like
it's a
Pink Floyd The Wall-esque thing, or
it's
I could
a tightrope.
Yeah,
because it's like you don't want to be too pretentious, but you don't want to. You want to have like something cool there.
yeah. Like, do you know who like the Caretaker is?
Yeah, the
Everywhere at the End of Time.
Yeah, like that's interesting.
Yeah.
And like that album rides on the concept.
Yeah.
Like like it wouldn't really be. People probably wouldn't like it if it didn't have that
if it
whole context.
If it was like half songs about dementia and half happy go fun time. Then
right.
Like, it's gotta...
Or even if people didn't know it was about dementia, it's just like, what's this like ballroom music? I'm not gonna listen to this. But yeah.
All right, I think we got time for let's do one more miscellaneous question, and then we'll just move on to wrapping this whole up in a nice little bow. Sound what do you say, pal? Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. You can't see it, but I was doing a really dumb thumbs up. 1 through 25.
Cool thumbs up. 19.
19. You already did 19.
I did 18.
Yeah. 18. How do you deal with stage fright?
Well, I haven't, like I said, I haven't really been like on a stage since I was a kid, but probably just like talk myself down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you did kind of mention you had like pre-show rituals before. No, let's do one more. That was a quick one. One more. 1 through 25.
16.
16. Let's see. Counting down.
Yeah. I should have done that to begin with.
Oh, is there any music that you listen to that might surprise people?
I like Russian folk music. That's kind of interesting.
Ooh. Okay, that is good. I like that too. Like the what's it called? Balalaika? Great instrument.
Yeah, or even like Tuvan throat singing or whatever. I think that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, we are now wrapping up this interview. Hi,
Nice.
Sterling. Hi, Levi. Anything you want to say to the crowd?
Welcome to our ASMR.
Okay. So, anything you want to say to the listeners, Jake?
I don't know. Thank you. That's all I got.
Anyone you want to shout out at all?
Just people I mentioned. The person I do that dot set thing with, Louis, he has some good music on his SoundCloud. You can probably just find it by going through all my stuff.
Awesome. And now, Instagram, Spotify, Bandcamp. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on all those. Just Pulse-Static, look it up. I got Instagram.
I believe it's
Linktree.
I believe it's Pulse-Static on Bandcamp, so people don't get lost
Nice.
by a completely different Pulse-Static. Thank you all for joining me. I am James AKA LUVOL. You can find me on Instagram at LUVOL_music. You can email me luvolonair@gmail.com if you want. If you have a request or want to be featured on the show as a guest, like my good buddy Jake here. LUVOL is spelled LUVOL, and not like Louisville, Kentucky. And now we will go out to the soothing sounds of Thanks for Coming by Yara Asmar. Thank you everyone for joining us today.